All right, happy Thursday, guys. I just wanted to do a quick rundown of today's assignments in case there's any confusion, and also forcing you to see my face. But hope everything's going well with you guys in this distance learning. Progress reports are coming out very soon. I think next week they are due. So, we're pretty close to wrapping this whole thing up. So just keep doing what you guys are doing. And, if you're struggling with anything, if you have questions, please reach out to me and I will do my best, my absolute best to help you guys out and get you through this. Although a lot of you have done an excellent job so far, you're keeping up with assignments, you're asking the right questions. So just keep doing your thing. So here's the rundown for today. So I haven't posted anything yet, but, by the time you see this video, it will be posted. So today's focus is going to be on two things. So we're going to be focusing on how the two major parties in our country that make up our two-party system, the Republican and Democratic parties, we're going to learn about how they developed over time. Okay, so we're going back to the 1830s for the Democratic Party and the 1850s for the Republican Party, and even a little before that. I think it's important to understand, how these parties develop, because I think it sheds a lot of light on why certain people support certain parties. There's a reason for it. Like people, depending on the color of your skin, depending on your job background, your family history, your family origin, like where you're from in this country. If you were born, if your parents and grandparents lived in this country for a while, depending on where they lived, in what particular region, that also plays a big impact. So those two videos are gonna, we'll get to that in a second. So that's going to be covered. And then we're also going to be talking about two ideologies that are very common in today's world, especially the US, when people talk about others being conservative or liberal. Okay, I'm sure you may have heard those terms, but now we'll understand exactly what they mean. So the tasks that you have today, there's actually a total of 3 ed puzzles and 1 Google form that you guys are going to be completing for me today. So the first as part of the assignment, and I put them in the exact order I want you guys to complete them in. First is there are 2 ed puzzles. One is about the Democratic Party and how it came to be, and one is about the Republican Party and how that party developed. So the Democratic one is from white supremacy to Obama, and the Republican one is obviously how the Republican Party went from Lincoln to Trump. Okay, so they're not very long videos, but there's questions in there as always. So make sure you guys are paying attention. Don't be afraid to rewind to catch things that you missed. So you're going to start with that. Again, gives you a brief history of the two parties, how they developed, and why certain people support those parties today. The second part is crash course political ideologies. Again, conservative, liberal. Okay, so you'll learn pretty much what conservative and liberal values are. And maybe you guys might, start to identify with one of those two ways of thinking when it comes to politics. So those are the first 2 parts. Those are 3 ed puzzles in total. Okay. And before I get to the third part, as I've written here, I will be averaging out the 3 ed puzzle scores that you get today, and I'll be putting that in as a quiz grade. Okay, so another opportunity to boost those grades. So I'll take your 3 scores, I'll average them out, and I will put that score in as a quiz grade in Aspen. So just make sure you listen and watch carefully. I'm not going to be allowing retakes because they're ed puzzles, and I'm telling you ahead of time. So take your time, okay? And hope you guys do well on those. The last part is a Google form. So this part here is related to the last ed puzzle you guys are going to be working on, which is crash course political ideologies. Okay, so again, talking about conservative and liberal values. So the Google form that I've already shared with you is titled "The Political Spectrum: Where do you fall on it? Okay, so you'll learn more about what the political spectrum is as it relates to conservative and liberal ideologies, ways of thinking. Okay, and they are each linked to one of the two major parties, the Republican and Democratic parties, and you'll learn more about that. So it's kind of like a mini escape room. So you guys have to answer the questions as they come. And depending on how you answer each question, it could bring you to a different section. Okay, so I'm going to have you watch the Ed puzzle first, just so you get a better idea of what conservative and liberal means. And then you will move on to the political spectrum. Where do you fall on it? And you'll learn more about what that means. All right, so that is today's workload. Just a reminder, you guys do not have school tomorrow. Neither do I, which is great. So enjoy your long weekend. And obviously, just because you're on vacation doesn't mean you can't make up work that has not been finished. Just make sure that you guys are staying on top of that. Most of you are. Some of you are not at all. So we're running out of time. So just make sure you guys keep track of that. Okay. Have a great weekend. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. If not, I'll talk to you guys next week.